What's up, guys, and welcome back to CGB Productions. Today we got our Week 6 NFL predictions. Week 5 was a tough one. A lot of games went different ways than a lot of people were expecting, including myself. Last week kind of took a toll on the record for the year so far, but we're hoping to pick it back up today. This week and see what goes on. So this week we finally have some buys. So I don't know. I know for sure the Raiders are on a bye because I got Daniel Carlson in fantasy. So I know he is on his bye week. And obviously there's going to be a couple other teams that I'm not entirely sure at the moment yet, but we'll probably figure that out when it's all said and done. So, moving right into the predictions. Starting with tonight, we got the Washington Commanders at the Chicago Bears. There was a report, I think William Jackson just requested a trade earlier today. Feels like he needs a fresh start, I think, is what I read. I don't know if he said that or if that's just what, people are saying that he feels. But regardless, he didn't make the trip with the team. Then just looking, who else? We got Jahan Dotson. He's out. So they're down a receiver. They're down Jonathan Williams at running back. Who else? They got a couple people. Who else here? Sam Cosmi at tackle. He's out as well. As well as Logan Thomas is out, and then De'Ami Brown is questionable. Then for the Bears, it looks like the only one that's questionable is Dane Cruikshank. I hope I said that right. So they get Jalen Johnson back. So they get their top corner. They were without them last week against the Vikings. So it'll be nice to get him back. But this kind of feels like a tough game to try and predict here because, especially if the Thursday night football thing that's been going on continues and all the games just don't live up to the primetime slot. But regardless, I think we'll see a better game than last week tonight. Part of me is leaning towards the Commanders. I don't know why. I just think I think with the Bears, when they throw it as little as they do, especially in today's league, that it's hard to win games, especially when you can't get the running game going, or even if you do, or if anything happens to David Montgomery and you got Khalil Herbert or any of those two, if they don't show up and play the game how you'd like them to, then I think that just takes away a lot of offense for the Bears, and then they're leaning on their defense quite a bit, which stepped up a lot last week, I will say. But there were just some plays that were made that that the Bears didn't make rather. So I'm gonna go with the Commanders to start off the week at Chicago. Then moving on, we got the Patriots and the Browns. Just looking at the Patriots had a lot of guys that were just limited at practice today, and so I'm recording this on Thursday, so yeah, a lot of guys limited. They had about Jacoby Myers still limited. I'm guessing he'll probably play. Damian Harris, he'll probably play. Mac Jones, you don't know. I feel like Bailey Zappi's playing pretty well, so I don't know if that's too much of a setback, but we'll see what happens. Then with the Browns, they had a lot of limited, but then they also had a few that did not participate, like Clowney, Bitonio, Denzel Ward didn't participate. Either did Amari Cooper. Ronnie Harrison didn't either at safety for them. So that, I think this just comes down to, a war of attrition. The Browns are at home. I think the Browns are just looking like, hey, we are halfway to getting Deshaun Watson back and getting him suiting up for the first Browns game. for his first Browns game, and so I think it's really interesting to watch. But I think I'm gonna go with the Browns here. I just like what they've been doing this year a lot better as of now. They're still, week 6, not quite halfway through the season, so still a lot of room for improvement for a lot of teams. Then we got the Ravens and the Giants. Giants coming off the upset in London over the Green Bay Packers, and the Ravens, I believe, I forget who the Ravens played last week, but I think they played Cincinnati. Yeah, Ravens coming off the Monday night win against Cincinnati. Let's see here. So far, I mean, both teams had a pretty extensive injury list. The Giants more than the Ravens. The Giants are at home. I just don't know what to think of the Giants right now. Because yes, they're 4-1, tied with the Cowboys in their division, but what do we expect them to keep that up? The Ravens are a good team, especially when Lamar Jackson can play like he has been as of late. There's a lot of things looking at this, but I think I'm gonna go with the road team here in this case, and I'm gonna go with the Ravens taking the W there. Then we got the Jets and the Packers. Packers coming off the loss to the Giants in London, like I mentioned before, and the Jets, they are, coming off that really big win over the Dolphins. So a lot of things to look at here. But let's see, the Jets, all they had was Jermaine Johnson didn't participate, but everyone else was limited on their injury report. And the Packers just had one of their linebackers, Galea. He didn't participate. Either did Christian Watson, the rookie receiver, or Aaron Rodgers. But I'm guessing Aaron Rodgers is just a veteran kind of rest day for him, I suppose. So nothing to worry. There's no way he's not playing. But with all that being said, I think Packers are back home. The Jets are a young team. They're still going to have a lot of learning to do. I do think they're looking really good this year. I just hope. I think the experience and the fact that it's at Lambeau will push the Packers to the W. Then we have the Buccaneers at the Steelers, and so far looks like both teams also had, Buccaneers have a huge did not participate list. I don't think I'm going to bore you guys by going through all that. But without putting much thought into this, I'm going to go Buccaneers, just because I feel that there's going to be a lot of learning curves with the Steelers this year. Kenny Pickett at the rookie. Then their offensive coordinator, I believe Matt Canada is his name. I know the Steelers fans want him out as soon as they can get him out. So we'll see what happens. I just think there's a lot of things that the Steelers might need to look towards future seasons for. I think this might end up being a bit of a rough year, and it'd be their first year under 500 since before Mike Tomlin, at least. So, I'd just going Buccaneers with this one. Then we have the Vikings at the Dolphins. It looks like the Dolphins are preparing to start 7th-round rookie Skylar Thompson. I really liked watching him at Kansas State, just because kind of fun to watch him and Deuce Vaughn in the backfield. That was kind of a fun show. The Vikings, they're getting back Andrew Booth Jr., his first time suiting up since week 1. The first half of week 1, I believe he got hurt. And so that's exciting. They get a little bit more depth back in the secondary. They had a couple other guys that were limited, like Zadarius Smith. I'm sure he'll go. Well, he'll be good to go. Alexander Madison was limited. I'm sure he'll be good to go. Jalen Naylor, who's just mainly a special teams player for them. He's full participant, ready to go. Just looking at the Dolphins here. Melvin Ingram didn't participate. Either did Teron Armstead or Bridgewater with his concussion. So I'm trying not to be biased, but like as a Vikings fan, but if you look at Dalvin Cook's stats, something interesting is Dalvin Cook playing in Florida against the Florida team. That's kind of a cool stat to look at. He does really well against those other Florida teams. Going back to Florida State, his days there. But I'm gonna go with the Vikings just because I feel like definitely not a tie. But I don't know. I think if the Vikings are able to get pressure on the rookie quarterback, that they'll be able to kind of control the game, and they just got to they got to have the offense that showed up the first 3 drives last Sunday against the Bears needs to show up again, and just keep that rolling instead of stalling for most of the rest of the game, except for their last drive of the game in the fourth quarter to score the game-winning touchdown. As a Vikings fan, I just think they need to make it a little bit easier on our hearts, giving a lot of people heart attacks on Sundays. So then next we got the 49ers and the Falcons. 49ers look pretty banged up. Falcons only got a few. They got 4 guys on there, and only Elijah Wilkinson at their guard, and hold on here, let me make sure I don't butcher this name. Is it Michael Walker? I wasn't sure if it was an I or not. But Falcons, I think they're gonna come out pretty mean this week. I feel like a lot of people think they got screwed over with the chance. I mean, they wouldn't have necessarily won had that roughing the passer on Tom Brady not been called, but they would have had a chance, right? They would have had a chance, and the thing is, like, getting that chance versus not getting that chance, it's gonna hurt quite a bit. And they're at home, 49ers. You don't know what team's gonna show up, so I'm gonna go with an angry Falcons team, and I'm gonna go with the Falcons at home. But that roughing the passer call. So especially with the one on Sunday night, I believe it would have been, or it might have been Monday night. Yeah, it was Monday night because I mixed up the Ravens, Bangles, and the Chiefs, Raiders. But there was 2 roughing the passer calls when the quarterbacks were getting sacked, and I don't understand why that would be a call. Like, especially with Chris Jones, he literally had possession of the ball. He just had. I get the full body weight thing. I just think that they're babying the quarterbacks a little bit too much in this league. And if Joe Burrow said it well, if you haven't seen what he said about the whole concussion thing, I encourage you guys to go and give that one a look. Speaking of Joe Burrow, we got the Bengals and the Saints. Who's at home here? Saints are at home. Oh boy, Saints injury list is long, but none of them have any game time decisions or their status right now. But my gut just thinks, I want to choose the Bengals in this one. Just like them a little bit more than the Saints. Don't know how the Saints are going to show up, so yeah. And then we have a rematch already. The Jacksonville Jaguars against the Indianapolis Colts. Man, did the Colts look... They kind of struggled quite a bit last week. There was a lot left on the table, I felt like, with them. But, this rematch last time at Jacksonville, the Colts got shut out, 24-0, I believe. Um, but yeah, it's just there's a lot of question marks into this game. Are the Colts as good as we thought? No. Are the Jaguars as bad as we were thinking? No. You just don't know if Trevor Lawrence that's going to come out and fumble the ball 4 times is going to come out, or if the Colts that won the game against that beat the Chiefs are going to come out. If that team's going to come out, or you don't know. But I'm going to hedge my bets and go with the Colts on this one. I think I picked the Jaguars last week, and they kind of let me down. But I think the Colts at home, I mean, they got to get a win, or else, Frank Wright's seat is just going to get that much hotter. Then we got the Rams taking on the Panthers. Panthers just fired Matt Rule. Rams, they lost a tough game last week to the Cowboys. That is one game that I feel good about myself for calling. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going with the Rams. I think the Rams are better than their 2-3 record. They just got a lot of things to figure out. I think the Panthers might be in sell mode here pretty soon. There's a lot of trade rumors going on, especially with DJ Moore. But I think if they're going to be drafting a quarterback this year, that DJ Moore is young enough that you need someone that's going to be able to perform for your quarterback, and not just depend on your quarterback. So I think that trade is unlikely, but you never know. So yeah, I'm going with the Rams there. Then the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Seahawks are at home. A lot of people on the Cardinals not participating in practice this past day on their injury report. But, Seahawks, major blow with Rashard Penny going down. They got rookie Kenneth Walker coming in. Liked him at Michigan State. Should be able to fill that void, one would think. I'm just not sure about the Cardinals at the end of the day. I'm not sure about the Cardinals. Geno Smith has been playing out of his mind, or at least out of his mind compared to the expectations that everybody had. Especially with the whole Drew Lock quarterback battle that was supposed to happen. But no, I'm going to go with Geno Smith and the Seahawks, something I never really thought I would say. But, here we are. And I'm going to skip a certain game right now, and we're going to go to that one at the end. But we're going to go to the Broncos and the Chargers. If the Broncos that came out last Thursday come out and play, it's going to be Chargers hands down. They need to get their red zone percentage up. They just have not been good down in the red zone. And that's if they get there even. You don't even know. It was something that's supposed to be, their strong suit, and it's not the case so far. So I'm just gonna go Chargers. Then we got another tough game here. Cowboys and the Eagles battle for the top of the NFC East. That's if the Giants lose, then it could be a three-way. Or if the Giants lose, if the Giants win, then it could be a three-way tie at the top of the NFC East. Eagles 5-0, Cowboys 4-1. Cooper Rush has been a great, game manager for them right now. Jalen Hurts, 2 rushing touchdowns, I believe, last week. Just been playing really good. But I think if there's anything that last week proved is that they're beatable, right? They're beatable. Every team in this league is beatable. I just think that, especially at the beginning of the year, a lot of teams are still figuring out a lot of stuff, and it's the teams that are able to put it together by the end of the year that end up doing the big things and living out some of the guys on their team's dreams of winning that Super Bowl. That being said, there are not too many injuries for each team here. Everyone's looking like, let's see, I guess Micah Parsons didn't participate in practice today, but he's got a little more time, obviously, for that. Who else here? Rico Dowdle, I believe he's just mainly a special teams player, I believe. So yeah, nothing to really be worried about there. Eagles, the only one that didn't participate is Josh Job. But everyone else participated. So it's going to be pretty much even team minus Dak Prescott. Unless, the big thing is if Micah Parsons is able to go. And I know, like, last week against the Rams, he got hurt during the game. But he still looked great coming off the ball regardless. Like, he was limping around it before the plays, but he still looked great, I thought. But the Eagles are at home. I think it's hard to. I feel like Cooper Rush's undefeated record as a starter, is gonna come down eventually. And I think this week, this test with the Eagles might be a little too tough. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles in this one. And then the big one, the big game, that everyone has been looking forward to. Had to pause for a second, but we're back. And then finally we got the Bills and the Chiefs, a rematch of the infamous coin flip game, I guess we'll call it. It's at the Chiefs, same place. Bills defense a little banged up, but they're still pretty good, especially that defensive line that they got with the rotation. Yet Chiefs aren't any slouch. They don't have Tyreek Hill, but they still have Travis Kelce. Beyond that, it's really kind of a toss-up as to who's gonna do what in that offense. And I don't know if Harrison Butker will be back, because that's a huge thing, because he's a really big plus for them. I mean, their kicker that they do have now, he made a 59-yard field goal last week. I forget his name, but he's suitable. But I feel like you'd be a lot more comfortable with someone like Butker kicking the field goals for you this week. But I think that the Bills. There we go. That the Bills are going to take this game on Sunday, and I think it'll be a good one. So I feel like people are going to have their popcorn ready for that one. So, yeah, well, thank you guys for watching. This has been CGB Productions. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. But, yeah, I'll have more predictions coming out, and soon I will have some mid-season awards coming out as well. So keep on the lookout for that. But we will keep on chugging along, keep getting these videos out for you guys, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.